Hey guys, TechAgent, we're back with a full review on the FIIL Wireless. FIIL is a small startup company based in China. They also had a Kickstarter page where they had a headphone. I think you guys might have heard if you watched Mr. Mobile. He did a review on the FIIL Diva, which is their super oral headphone. Same as this, it's just super oral. So that's the new headphone that they had on Kickstarter. But this is the FIIL Wireless, and this is a portable Bluetooth / active noise cancellation headphone. Now, this market of Bluetooth portable headphones is very hard to get into because you have stiff competition from Beats, from Bose, and the market that these guys are going against, it's very brand focused market. These consumer people, they are quite brand focused. It's very hard to get out a product and expect good results. The FIIL Wireless is having stiff competition, but at the same time this headphone has pretty good features, especially the sound quality, which I think is quite good. So I'll come to that. Let's start from the build quality. Build quality of this headphone is completely plastic, but the paint job and the finishing is quite nice. The hinges are also plastic. Now this is a bit of a problem because these hinges and these mechanism, these parts which have a lot of stress on them should be metal, because unless they have taken into account the stress and strain, most of the time this part is prone to cracking because plastic itself goes through a lot of thermal degradation and time degradation. So I don't think these headphones will last for a long time. At least the hinges will, because plastic will it gets so brittle after some time that it will just snap. The clamp force is very high. Now this can be a good thing and a bad thing. Bad thing is it's not going to be ideal for travel. The good thing is you can use this headphone in the gym, especially if you're doing a bench press. Using this headphone because of the high clamp, they will stay secure on your head. They will not fall down or fall off your head, which is very important. With these headphones, like let's say the Shure 440 that you can see, that's a pro headphone, and pros usually have consoles around, so they move around a lot. And with a light clamp force, you might get good comfort, but at the same time the headphone will never stay secure on your head. And I think that's a bit of a shame for these kind of pro headphones. So the FIIL Wireless has strong clamp. That's the good thing. The bad thing is for long flights, this will not be adequate, especially because of the ear pads, which they call it circumoral, but the opening and the cavity is just not circumoral. I get why manufacturers are doing this. They want to reduce the footprint. They want the ear pads to be small enough so it doesn't look goofy on a head. They don't want to increase the footprint. I get that, but at the same time, it's a trade-off I'm not a huge fan of. I would like a large cavity and just a big ear pad to ensure that my ear doesn't get raped, and that's something most manufacturers forget, and that's a big problem. So the pads, as you can see in the left part, my left ear is different. Everybody has their variances in the ears, and because of that, my left ear sticks out a lot, and because of that, the ear pad crushes the bottom part of my ear, and there's this seam that it's a permanent seam now because of that crushing point. So comfort is a bit of a problem with this FIIL Wireless, and I think this is a place where they really could have scored with a larger ear pad. So big problem. Headband I haven't had any hot spots because of the headband, but at the same time I would have liked a much thicker headband, but no complaints yet. The cables are also removable, so you have 3.5. so let's say your battery runs out, you can use this in wired mode. You also have a micro USB for charging, and you have a button right here which acts as a multifunction button, so you can activate noise cancellation, turn on the headphones or turn them off, and also you can configure the LEDs, which this FIIL logo, as you can see, it illuminates, so you can configure those things with this button. There's also a very small LED beneath the micro USB, so when you're charging, you can it acts as a notification LED, so you know what level your battery is at. The battery life, they claim to be approximately like 32 hours, something like that. That's possible without the lights on, but I tested with them, these headphones with the light on, the illumination on, and I got 15 hours out of them with the lights on and Bluetooth mode. So that's pretty impressive if you think about it. So the battery life is not bad at all. I think it's pretty good, pretty adequate, and should be fine for most people. They also lay flat like that. You can also fold them like that. And here I have a big complaint with this headphone. Most of the people, who are going to be using this headphone, they will have a preset position where the headphone fits. So at that preset position, if you have the case comes in the box, and you cannot fit this headphone on your position that you like, in the case, and that's a big problem because my QC25s, they fit no problem at my position in the case, but with this you have to go down to the minimum position for them to accommodate inside the case. And I think that's a very big problem because nobody has the time for a portable headphone to adjust the headphone every time they want to use it. They want to just take it out of the case, put them on their head, and that's it. Nobody wants to readjust them, find the right spot, and do all of those things again. So that's a big problem with the FIIL wireless, and I think they should have fixed that. In terms of features, you have the right part of the earphones, the cup. These acts as a touchpad, so you volume up for swipe up, volume down, swipe down. Left right is for the tracks. Play and pause is done by this button, the multifunction button. Now let's talk about the sound quality of the FIIL wireless. The FIIL wireless, the signature of this headphone is quite hi-fi, but at the same time, it's not overly done. The bass it's adequate, it's enough. It never felt bloated, never felt accentuated. It just felt adequate. There was no bad characteristics to the bass, and that's a big compliment because most of the these consumer headphones, they overdo the bass. The mid-range is I would say, because of the lack of crazy accentuation, you might think that mid-range is flat, but it's not. It's recessed, definitely recessed, but it never feels bad. It never feels congested. It always felt quite thick and quite substantial. The treble is accentuated again, as I said, hi-fi signature, but at the same time it's not overly done, and that's very important. You want a headphone to not have a dizzy treble, not a bright treble. It's accentuated, but it never felt bright. It never felt dizzy. The really upper frequencies, they never felt too bad. They were always in control, and I think that's so this headphone is tuned pretty good because again you have to keep in mind this is all DSP. This is not the original sounding drivers, but that's good. I like DSP, and what these headphones have done, what these guys have done in terms of tuning this headphone, I think they've done a pretty good job. So headphone doesn't sound bad at all. I think it sounds actually pretty good. So sound quality is not a point of concern. They sound very good, very hi-fi, but not crazy in terms of bass and treble. So well-tuned headphone. Now let's talk about the active noise cancellation of this headphone. Now the FIIL has stiff competition from Bose, and to be honest, Bose has a patent on the technology and they have the specific frequency range for the destructive interference. So with all those limitations, it's very hard to compete against Bose. And with all of that, FIIL has done a pretty respectable job, I would say. The NC works pretty good, but at the same time, it's not as good as the Bose, which is, as I said, understandable. The low frequency attenuation is not as good, and there is slight leakage in the low, so the rumbling, although minimized, is still audible, and that's something you just have to live with. This problem will be solved if you're using the volume at moderate levels. If you're listening at a very low level, you will obviously hear the background noise, but you will also hear a constant haze that's there while you're using Bluetooth as well as the NC mode. And that's, to be honest, that's something there with even the Beats Studio wireless. I don't know if the Bose QC35 has it, so the haze is there. It's very annoying, but at the same time, I've heard people have this issue on other headphones as well. So the FIIL wireless, it's a good headphone for $269. It has a lot of features. It competes well against the competition, but at the same time, I think the price could be slightly less. If they launched this headphone at $200, just imagine what a deal this headphone would be. It would have all the features, everything, all the great stuff, but it would compete so well against those headphones at that price point that those headphones will have a hard time selling because of all the things you get with this headphone. The biggest problem with this headphone for me is the comfort. The pads, they're just too small. They are very troubling, and I don't think these headphones are meant for traveling. And people are using these who are buying Bluetooth and especially noise cancellation headphones. They are main priorities for traveling. I don't see how people will like this headphone for traveling. I cannot have this headphone on my head for more than 1 hour. So just imagine how bad they would be for a long flight. It's a big problem, it's a big complaint and a big deal breaker for me, but at the same time the FIIL has pretty good sound quality, pretty good design. Again, that's subjective. Great features. Bluetooth works pretty fine. With my desktop PC, I was able to go downstairs and the connection was still strong. So the Bluetooth, the chip inside, it's pretty high quality, and the range is quite amazing. So the everything works, everything is fine, everything is as advertised, but the comfort is a problem. I think slightly large ear pads would have made this headphone a killer deal. So the FIIL Wireless, I wish them all the best of luck with their endeavors in the future, but the FIIL Wireless really needs slightly more to compete against the stiff competition, and I'm sure FIIL also realizes this problem. So FIIL Wireless, good headphone, very good features, great sound quality, but the market is pretty strong, and those people, especially the Bose QC25 and the 35, those are pretty good headphones as well. So that's it, the FIIL Wireless. Take it easy, and I'll see you guys next time with more vintage headphones. Alright.